Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the International Care Collective, the podcast that dives into the incredible journeys of people making a difference across the world and here in the NHS. I'm Sam Elliott Eleknovich, and I'm your host, and I'm a practice educator here at University Hospital Sussex. And this podcast is brought to you with the Trust and in collaboration with NHS England's Stay and Thrive Community of Practice. Today, we'll be once again turning our stethoscopes to one of our amazing NHS professionals, and we are delighted to be joined today by our wonderful nurse, Nidhiya. Welcome to the podcast, Nidhiya.
Thank you, Sam.
Amazing. Thank you ever so much for joining us. So just for myself, I obviously know you quite well, but obviously our listeners and our viewers probably don't know who you are. So if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. My name is Nidhiya. I work at the University Hospital Sussex and currently working as a unit manager for Area 2C, which is part of A&E, and we cohort mental health patients. I've been in the UK for about 4.5 years now, and it's been amazing.
Lovely. And you joined us, like you say, you joined us at 4.5 years ago, and you joined us as what we call a band 5, so a staff nurse, yeah?
Yes, I joined as a band 5. Initially, I would say, because we didn't get the pin when we first joined, so a band 4.
Band 4, yeah.
And then the OSCE, and then the band 5, and currently as a band 7.
We're going to touch on the joys of the OSCE very, very shortly.
Absolutely.
For you. So one thing that we ask people to do when they come and join us is either just talk about something or bring something with you that reminds you of home, something that you miss and something that you go to. What is that thing for you that, you know, you can kind of go back to and look at or think of that reminds you of home and makes you still be happy to be here as well?
I think currently it's the watch that I'm wearing, and that's my dad's. I lost him last April 2025. No, we're in 2024. Yeah. So this is one thing that always keeps me going. Like even back from work or being at home, a memory of home would always be him and just being around in the house, and something that I always miss.
Do you know what? That's so beautifully and so very well put. What was he like for you? Was he kind of like that driving force for you?
I think when I decided, it wasn't my choice or my decision. I'm kind of like a person who doesn't really think about what forward or how should I move things? And I was in a state where, whatever, I'll just take it. But Dad was somebody who, till date, I think I very much respect and really, really grateful for putting that decision in front of me. So he was somebody who actually said, why don't you try for UK? And I was like, why? What about UK? I mean, I've just started my nursing career. I'm doing okay here. And he said, no, it's much more different than you think. I mean, you should just maybe try and explore and all of that. So he gave me a start. And now I'm here.
He was like your driver, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, Dad
decision.
and Mum, but maybe a major force was Dad's.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really thankful that he did push me. And because of him, right now I'm here. And I'm so, so thankful for that.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's quite a personal story. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Right, let's start at the very beginning. You've kind of preempted this question a little bit already, but great fun. What made you decide to move to the UK? We've mentioned your father already, but also work in the NHS. Was it the adventure, the opportunity, or was it just complete plain curiosity? What was it for you?
The very last thing you said, curiosity. Yeah, because I'm a kind of person who, well, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I don't prepare. Or for me, it's like I like the adrenaline rush or
the spontaneity. I could never say that.
Exactly. So I started my nursing career in 2020. So it's not long now. It's about 5 years exactly. Yeah. So 2019 I graduated. And then to me, I always wanted to go into teaching and I didn't want to do the practical side of it. But again, Dad and Mum, they knew how I am and what I needed. So pretty much said, why don't you take up the practical side? They knew what I needed to be. I'm not saying that I didn't have a vision, but I was lost. I was kind of lost. Started from there. And then I heard about UK through Dad and my friend. She was very much up to date with, the NHS, the OSCE stuff and NMC and everything. I'm like, what is all this?
It's like a foreign language. What is this thing?
Yeah, I mean, why are you so... no. It's so different to how it's here. And plus, I have no shame in telling this, but nursing in our country and nursing here is entirely different. Positives and negatives to both. But pay-wise as well, for the amount of work we do there. I don't think we're recognized or paid enough for that. Back in India, mostly nurses are seen as someone who is just meant to follow doctors or, kind of that hierarchy thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that was something that I really, really hated about. Or you need to have your own respect or professionalism in your job that you do. But it was overseen.
Kind of seen as part of a team rather than being told what to do. Your opinion and your clinical skill.
I don't think anywhere I felt... I did only 1 year in India, but none of that time I can remember of where I had an option to say what I wanted or my opinion mattered. It was always like, oh, you've been given an order. Okay. You follow it. So, I'm not trying to put the profession there down, but it is.
Yeah.
The minute a doctor walks in, you got to grab the folder, follow the doctor.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, and there are some exceptional doctors in India who definitely knows what the profession is.
Yeah.
And it's similar to how it is done here.
Yeah.
But that part of it is different.
So did it... I mean, I'm gonna kind of skip a question in a minute, but did it kind of surprise you then when you came here and when you started working clinically, how multi-professional it was?
Absolutely. Because there is a part of Indian culture where we show gratitude or, how can I put it?
Respect, is it, I suppose? Or is it?
I would say more or less like if someone's elder to you in hierarchy or by age, you show respect to them. Okay. Either you give up your seat or you stand up when they're around and you don't sit down.
It's like the respect your elders, they stand up when they walk in.
Exactly. Kind of, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I found it really difficult because any time a doctor walked in, because I was so used to this in India, I moved here and any time a doctor walks in or a BAM6 or a nurse in charge walks in, I was like, okay, you take my chair. Why don't you sit down? And everybody kept telling me, no, don't do that. It's okay. It's okay. Everyone's treated equal. And that's one major shift that I felt from there, that no matter what, everyone is treated equal. You have your own opinion. Your opinion is respected, whether it's right or wrong. Someone's hearing you. Yeah. And
your voice is heard.
Your voice is heard, exactly. Yeah. And that's one thing that I loved about NHS as well.
I think you've touched on quite a few things. I mean, I always remember when we were preparing your cohort, your group for the OSCEs, and the first day when everyone walked in, it was like, I was obviously there, but everyone kind of like creeped in. It was almost like, are we late? Have we done something wrong? I was like, no, I'm just here all the time, just coming in. And it was...
I know. I remember you telling a couple of times, oh, it's okay, you can relax, you can talk. But everyone was like, no. Let's just see what this guy is doing now.
Waiting for the tumbleweed to go across the room when we were doing it, bless you. So thank you for that answer. That's amazing. I mean, you've touched on, and we've mentioned the word OSCE a little bit. It's just for our listeners that aren't aware of what an OSCE is. Can you explain kind of like what your pathway was in terms of what you had to do in order to get to here? And then obviously the joyful OSCE, what that entailed for you and how you found the preparation for that?
It was a great experience, I would say. And all the more because we had you in our team. The entire team was wonderful. The start of it was I came in through an agency called Envertus. I have to say they're amazing at kind of guiding us and helping us to reach UK. So the process was pretty smooth from India. Yeah. But my flight got cancelled about 5 or 6 times because it was in the middle of Corona. We had to move
because you were right in the middle of the pandemic, weren't you?
Yeah, very much. So that except that, I think everything was smooth. We landed into the UK, and they did give us a heads up that there's already a team at the hospital who would prepare you for OSCE, and you don't have to worry about it. Again, I didn't know what OSCE was, and to me it was like, okay, you need to crack an exam. But the team here, the recruiting team here, was amazing. You, Suma, Jerome, everybody made us so much at ease, and I think right from the boot camp. Yes, the first day we were all a bit tensed up and things.
The name didn't help though, did it? Boot camp. I mean, we loved it just because it put the fear of God in most of it. Even us, we were like, we feel the name.
I kind of thought about that. I was like, boot camp, okay, it's something that we need to, focus on about studies, or is it something different? That kind of a thing. But then I knew, okay, the OSCE preparations are now called boot camp, and we enjoyed every bit of it. I have to say, look, a part of me said, oh, it's not work now. We have I think we had an entire month to prepare.
It was, for 4 to 5 weeks, I think we had the program running.
So the entire month, it never felt really nerve-wracking or, thinking about it because everything was so smooth. Boot camps were amazing. You took us through all of the assessments and preparation.
Yeah, the skills and what you needed to do.
Exactly.
What they were going to be looking at for you and from you.
So even on the day of the exam, I don't think personally me, I wasn't nervous or anything. And I think Sue was with us.
Yeah.
To the point where she had to even say, Nidhiya, you got to stop laughing at the funny videos you're watching. And maybe, you know, don't be too relaxed and get into this.
There's relaxed, and then there was Nidhiya,
I know.
wasn't there? That was the thing. It was...
Because almost it's like I'm going to enter into another session of the boot camp. It might not be Sam or Suma or Sue or Daryl, but you made it really easy for us, and preparations were really, really good. I don't think it was any different because I've heard my colleagues from other trusts who were also preparing for OSCE exams say, we don't know what to do about this, or this is entirely different. I said, just go with what's taught in boot camp. Everybody's been referring, and that's one thing that I would want to tell the international nurses coming forward as well. Go with what's been taught in your boot camp. Yes, you can take references from YouTube or how it's going, but there are n number of things said on YouTube, and it's very confusing. And I hate to go back into thinking
more of a hindrance than a help sometimes.
I know. And I think OSCE has changed a lot from what I've written and to now. I think a lot of things have been added, a lot of things have been removed. So in that way as well, just go with what the trust says, or the recruiting team has already done their research before teaching you. So don't get yourself confused with the things on the internet. It is good, it is helpful. Take what is needed, but go with what is given. And we went to, I think, Northern Ireland. Yes. And that was a wonderful trip. Amazing. We had our OSCE done there. I think the only time it got me nervous was on the day of the results, because I was like, okay, I was a bit too over-relaxed. And now, I don't know, because maybe...
Were you like second guessing? I was like, was I too relaxed?
Because everybody around me was really tensed about it. They're like, oh, it's going to be results time. And I personally don't get that unless everybody around me is starting to show that. I'm like, okay, I need to be a bit more anxious about this now.
I remember looking at the messages from our manager at the time, and they were like... Everyone else is absolutely really, really, really scared, and Nidhiya is sitting here absolutely fine. And I was like, well, that's what you want. That is what you want. And I think that was one of the key things that we kind of tried to kind of embody for you guys as well, wasn't it? It was, yes, there are these, you know, marking criteria and these things that you need to meet throughout that exam, but you still need to bring you.
And that's what kept me calm, because you have already talked us through or walked us through whatever's going to happen, what to expect. This is how it's going to be. So you don't have to be. So I knew what was coming forward. And there was nothing in me that said, okay, maybe
no surprises.
It was really good.
I mean, I think one of the things that you said, we called it a boot camp, and I think that each trust will call it something different. Your OSCE training, your OSCE preparation program. Within part of that, even though, you know, we said it was like 4 or 5 weeks, which sounds quite a long time, but within that was also the pastoral elements of it as well, wasn't there? So how beneficial did you find that in terms of obviously us getting you set up with a bank account and, you know, your occupational health appointment and you finding somewhere to live in terms of your ongoing, you know, accommodation and buses and stuff? How was that?
It was very, very helpful, because if I have to remove that element of thinking, oh, what if you hadn't really helped us with the you know, getting a bank account set up, or moving forward, what we need to, you know, set up for joining the units, we could have been lost. Mostly we would be lost without anything. But it was very much clear cut with the bank accounts, which was very much important. Finding a new place to stay. I think more than us, the entire team was pushing us to say, please, come on, you got to start thinking about what next, and even giving us options. I think the current location that I'm still staying in was from the message that you put in the group. It was somewhere else. So it was trying to connect people together, and trying to say, okay, you're not alone here. We are here to help. And the international team did an amazing job, even with the slightest of things. Like when we came in, absolutely no idea. It's a new country. It's new people. Everything is so much new. But right from airport to we stayed at the Ibis Hotel, you know, setting up things there, making sure that we are comfortable, giving us very clear instructions about the boot camp, trying to make sure that we have everything set up before we walk in to the hospital. Not just OSCE preparations, but everything that an individual could need to start a life in the UK.
Because it is, and I think a lot of time when I speak to people like yourself and whatever profession it is, a lot of the time I get told it's like learning how to be an adult again.
True, very true.
Because you're learning all these things in a different country, and it's things that you probably wouldn't have considered because it's second nature to you.
True,
and I think that was important for us in the team, that we embodied and embedded them within the training that we offered you guys.
And I'm really thankful that maybe from what I've heard, not every team or every trust really tries to think of even the minute things that a person would need after they move to the UK or any country for that reason. Yeah. But the entire team was amazing. Yeah. I have to say, it was very smooth.
You're too kind.
I know. Gradual, smooth. Yeah, it was really nice. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, I'm glad you had that experience, and that is obviously what we aim for everyone. So, I hope everyone else kind of felt the same way about that as well. So my next question for you. So you've landed here, you're in the UK, you've arrived. What was that like for you? Obviously, like I say, you kind of very, spontaneousness, went with the flow kind of thing. Did anything surprise you?
Yes. So landing in the airport, my picture of the airport was quite different. I wouldn't want to share what it was like because very, let's say, flamboyant.
I'm intrigued
kind of
already.
Things, yeah. But I saw a very long queue, which took, I think, ages to get to that immigration point. And to see something that's very different to your country, even infrastructure or locality-wise, it was quite stunning, I would say. The first experience was, yes, we came into the Ibis Hotel. My room was really good and set up, and I really liked the experience. The only one thing that I would say I wasn't really happy with it was there was maybe a little bit of racism at the hotel, and that I wasn't expecting that because we are right now in the 21st century.
Yeah, 21st century.
Yeah, so I was kind of hoping maybe things like that won't happen. But we had an entire group of Africans, Filipinos, and Indian nurses together. And it was pretty clear mark of racism there from the staff about even, going for breakfast, and they wouldn't listen to us. Okay. Or they would just say, oh, just wait on the side. We're doing our work kind of thing. Okay. So maybe, but I haven't seen that kind of a thing afterwards. Okay. So things have changed, or maybe it's just particular to a couple of people who work there. Don't know. But other than that, I think first day or things changing in the UK was really good.
How did that make you? I mean, I'm going to touch on it, obviously. How did that make you feel in terms of that feeling of the, is this racism or is this just how they are? How did that make you feel at that point? Because it would have been very early on in your arrival, right?
It was pretty much the early days in UK. So that kind of put a fear in me thinking, is it going to be the same going forward? Have I just stepped into something that I shouldn't have?
So what have I done?
Yeah. It's an entire shift. Yeah. And it took me maybe a couple of days, I don't know if that's the same for everyone, to realize that it could be only a certain list of people or a couple of people who still haven't moved on from things or haven't really evolved. But meeting people outside or people from work, and especially your team, I have to say, gave us a new window to saying not everyone's the same. Yeah. Because personally, if I have to say, we don't know each other. We're just meeting for the first time at the boot camp. Yeah. And for you to make us feel like home, or, you're a very jolly, funny person. And
I try.
that puts us at ease. Yeah. I think slowly that changed my mindset into thinking not everyone's the same. And going forward, even at the hospital, people were treated differently. I mean, nice way differently. Yeah. So, that's the only thing that went through my mind. It is bad that still people do it. Yeah. It is not nice because it really, really, really put a black mark in my mind thinking, oh,
what have I done kind of thing.
I know. I mean, there was so much of, how can I say, putting things aside, or the entire group, even if you have to ask something, it's a new place and you need answers. I mean, we're not asking 10 questions at a time, but at the same time, just kind of being like, oh, just be there. Can't you see that I'm doing my work? I understand you might be having a bad day, or we are trying to understand what's going on here. Yeah. But if that's your response, and
it's good but I think you did mention some of these things to us at that point, and we did come and help and support. I was going to say on that, do you feel like you were supported when you had those kind of queries?
Absolutely. I don't think we would have been able to move forward if it weren't for the team support. So amazingly, you did say, yes, this is it. And we didn't have to spend much time at the hotel. And one of the reasons why we had to spend time at the hotel was because it was the pandemic time.
I was going to say, we need to mention that, don't we? It was quarantining, wasn't it? Yeah. That's why you were in a hotel. We're not like putting everyone up in a hotel when they came over.
No, absolutely not.
And I think the quarantine thing, wasn't it?
True. And a part of our team they were at the staff accommodation. Yeah. But a group of us were at the hotel, and that's only because of the pandemic. Yeah. And not because Trust just threw us at the
As lovely as that would be.
I loved my room though.
Yeah, you miss your room.
It was amazing.
Love it. Right, my next question for you. What about your first day in clinical practice? So obviously, you guys went in there, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying to remember this, but you guys went in there just before you were waiting for your result. You were already having your orientation and things. How was that for you? What was that like for you?
At that time, I think in AEU, I was in AEU.
Yeah.
I was a medical surgical nurse, and I remember Leah, who was our practice educator there. She took us through the hospital, and everything was just, it's different. Oh, see what's happening there. It's like a small kid walking into a park and thinking, there's that thing, there's this thing. What do I do now?
Yeah.
So it was really, really fascinating. And the minute Leah took us uphill to A&E, on that day, frankly speaking, all of us felt, oh my God, do we have to walk this every day to get to A&E?
The dreaded hill to A&E, is it?
And I kept asking Leah, do you do this every day? She said, you'll get used to it. And now 4.5 years later, I'm like, it's just a 5-minute walk or even a 2-minute walk. I can reach this soon. She took us to the unit. Seeing AU for the first time, I was trying to just think, how will I ever find my way from A&E to here? Because right now it just feels like a small distance.
Yeah.
But on the first day, I was like, she's coming in through there. Someone's coming in through there. Eventually, we have to reach AU. So
it's like a maze down there, isn't it? It's insane.
and I think till date, I do find it difficult sometimes to go to the wards or now with the LMB it's much more straightforward, but
are you saying that I still get lost? I mean, you're doing a lot better than I am, but yeah.
On the first day it did look like a maze, but Leah was absolutely spot on, showing us where we would be working.
And Leah was the practice educator at the time.
Very much surprising, and everybody was on their run. It's a fast moving unit. So she did give us a heads up saying, it wouldn't be as you expected, but it wouldn't be like how you would imagine A&E in your country or if you have worked elsewhere. But I loved AEU.
Yeah.
I loved AEU, probably because I love fast moving or something that keeps me on my toes.
I remember when we came to visit you when you were working clinically, every time I'd see you, that ward could be, or that unit, I should say, could be an absolute car crash. You feel so busy, but you were still there, just in the background, smiling around.
Hi, Sam.
Hiya. I was just like, good. What is she taking? Bless her. How much coffee has she had this morning? Bless her. But it was a delight to see as well. I think because it was just like your attitude and the way that you were, it kind of brushed off on everyone else, and you could see that. So it could be really, really busy, but you were just there smiling, and because you were smiling, they were smiling, and everyone else was smiling. It was infectious in a way.
Thank you.
In a nice way. I just realised how that sounded there, but
that was my first patient feedback. If you actually remember, there was I don't remember the name, but there was an older lady who gave a very positive feedback, and you wanted to know how things are going on there. And till date, to me, that's very that's my first feedback in UK.
Amazing.
I'll hold that close to my heart, and you were part of it.
But I was going to say, do keep on to that feedback. I think we're also, we always, when we reflect and look back on things, we always look for the negatives, don't we? Normally, just as a human nature thing. But it's those positives that we really should also hold on to and reflect upon.
The positives
when we look at the experiences that we have. It's something that I think we all need to be better at. Personally, I think every time I see it, it's like, no, where's the good? Where's the good? Right, now's my fun time. We're at that time of the podcast where we're going to go to the board of joy, which is right behind you there. So I'm going to ask you, Nidhiya, I'm going to ask you to pick 4 cards completely at random. On those cards will be the questions that I'm going to be asking you next.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I know what the questions are. I don't know which ones are where, but I know what the questions are. I'm not going to give you any issues. So there you go. Right, past them here. No shady looking. Have you encountered discrimination or bias in your workplace, and how was it handled?
I don't think I have handled too much of anything in workplace. But yes, minute, but that wasn't discrimination to race or color. It was basically people just being themselves sometimes, and that could come out really bad. I think I never had a situation where I had to be, put in a very difficult place to deal with. But a couple of things here and there where you can already imagine if it's A&E and if it's a Saturday or an event took place and people are coming back sometimes drunk or maybe a little bit excess of things. So, yeah.
Other goodies, shall we call it, yeah?
So, yeah, it is fun. And right now I'm in the mental health sector where it has become usual for me with people's behavior and character.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, that's okay. They might take some time to sober up.
Yeah.
And a completely different person. So nothing particular in discrimination. And I've seen it very less. Other than for the first thing that I told when we landed in the UK, I don't think I've faced anything after that.
Yeah. But I mean, even like you're saying, you're looking after patients with cognitive health issues and concerns, and obviously they may not be being their true selves, but that still must have an impact on you, right? Even if they say something or does it kind of, for you personally, does that not?
Now that you've said about this, yes, there was an incident and a very much discriminating one at that. I think I didn't probably think about it when you initially said. There was one of our patients, especially in 2C, who I think came around from US or something, but was living for a major part of her life in the UK.
Yeah.
Don't know what was the bad experience that could have brought this out for that person, but absolutely discriminating and racist. To the point where comments like, you need to go back to your country. Why are you working here? Yeah, you of color. Why are you doing that here? And initially, I have my staff to look after as well. And no matter how much it is personalized to pointing at me, everybody in my team is of different color. And I personally wouldn't like to say, oh, you're from UK or you're from Philippines. Or no, you're my team. That's how I see it. Yeah. And it got to a point where to anybody of color that walks into her cubicle, she used to be very racist, very demeaning and rude, to the point where we had to call in security, had to inform the senior team. And eventually, when a verbal warning was given, she did calm down. But that, till date, maybe is something that has really, really upset me, thinking, how many times did that person say? I know it's not personal, but how many times did that person say, you need to go back to your country? Why are you spending your time here when you need to work for your country? You're not a true nationalist and stuff and things. And I'm like, it's personal choice. And this in no way is me or the other nurses or HCAs putting down their own country. We wanted to explore more. And how can anybody else stop us from doing that?
Did you feel supported in that by your senior team? Obviously, that would be quite...
definitely. I had my senior staff, especially Alice was our matron and still our matron. She did come and check on all of us, even Andy from the mental health team. Did come and speak to us and say, it's not, they were reassuring us and saying, this is not normal, please don't consider that this is something that we would let go or slide. But again, I am a professional and I need to think it from a professional aspect of thinking, this person came in with some mental health difficulties. Probably this is not this person being themselves. Yes, it's not nice for someone to be racist or rude, but at the same time, we need to consider that they are here for treatment or they need the support and we're here to give them. And this is one of the, I kind of see it as a difficult situation that I had to handle at work. But
it's a very mature way to look at it, I've got to be honest. I mean, not everyone could do that. So I think credit where it's due, that is a very, very kind of mature head to have on that kind of circumstance and situation. And like I say, props to you for doing that and dealing with it. But it's nice to hear that you did have that support there as well. From
a lot of support given, which is why I could support my team as well in return. Because if I wasn't supported enough, I wouldn't be able to pass that on to my team.
Yeah. It's the domino effect, isn't it? It's, you see the good role modelling as it is, and then, you want to, I suppose, embody that in a way and pass that on. Like you say, it's like, you want to show what you got to other people.
Exactly.
Right? Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that, because I know that might be quite a difficult conversation to have. So I really appreciate you actually sharing that with us. That is amazing. Thank you. Next question is kind of a little bit of a build on that, but in a more positive light, I hope. Have you felt welcomed and supported by your colleagues and the community here?
Again, as I've already said before, so much welcomed, and first point of contact, it is the international team. I cannot point out at anybody else than the international team, because we were led, guided, supported, to the point where even right now when I think back, if I didn't have those, probably all of us would struggle and have a bad review about, how was your first day in UK? But I have nothing to say other than thank you, because it was really supported, well planned. Nothing where I could spot and say, maybe this could have been done better. No, nothing. To OSCE, to making sure that we had an introduction to the units. And I think there were people from our cohort who were not really happy with the allocated departments or areas, and it was even reconsidered, thinking if there is a reason why particularly this person doesn't want to work there, that was considered, and that's a very positive thing for me, because personally speaking, I didn't have an issue with AU, but if I was a nurse who worked in ITU back in India and coming over, I'm not used to working in the A&E setup, or I know that my skills would not be used in the best way possible if I wasn't in ITU setup. But there were people who wanted to make those changes, and the team was very supportive into considering and speaking to the seniors in the department. And I think overall, amazing.
Yeah, and I think for us as our team at that point when we were looking after you so much, it was the fact that we wanted you to come over here and not just fill a number. We wanted you to enjoy your lives and actually take your careers in the directions you wanted them to go in. So it was important for us when we had those people within the cohort that were like, I've been placed here, but I don't really think that that's where I should be, kind of thing. It was like, okay, well, let's look into that. Let's see where we can allocate you, and would you be happy with that? And it's like I say, a lot of the work that we do with any international staff member is making sure that they're happy here. It's a massive decision, whichever profession you come from, to move and leave your home and leave everything. We want you to be happy at your place of work, but also happy in the area you live. So there's so much more to it, I think, than
and I think that
realize.
was really seen when we look at you, and you really value that part where, yes, they have moved from their home and they're in a new place and they need that support. And you would have already noticed that a lot of us international nurses or healthcares, we don't really come forward.
Very
I know
shy. Very shy.
Very shy. And we kind of think, oh, should we burden them more? They're already doing so much for us. Should we just stay back and stay quiet? And you were kind enough to, even understand that and say, it's okay. It's okay. Whatever you have, you don't have to come out, shout it out in a group or say it. If you have any issues, please reach out to us. And knowing that support is there meant a lot for us, entire team.
Amazing. Thank you. I think we're on your last question from the board. What was the biggest challenge you faced when adapting to life in the UK?
Good question. I have worked for a year, and back in India, it was a unit called the Platinum Suite, which I think I've
sounds quite fancy.
It is quite fancy. It is basically only for the VIPs and VVIPs, so like governors and ministers or film stars. So it was completely different to how you're working there. You wouldn't be in a fast-paced environment. At the same time, you need to carry yourself in a different way. But at the base of it, everything is the same. Where a doctor walks in, you go in with the folder. Or if you ask any random person about, right now, it's changing because a lot of the nurses have been moving to Canada, UK, USA. So change in mindset is quite different now back in India. But at the time when I moved in, to everyone, a nurse would be somebody who either maybe goes and changes diapers or empties the cans, and nothing more than that. And to me, that was belittling, because I know 4 years of nursing, what we have learned and the amount of theory and practice we get is not what they think. And back in India, it was quite difficult to challenge every person and say, no, that's not it. This is not what we are here for. We know much more. Or a lot of places where we have to be quite strict with ourselves here and say, if there's no written order, we're not going to do it. But back in India, even if you challenge that, I'm not saying this is in all the places, please don't take me wrong for the listeners who are listening. But there are still the ongoing practice of where something's happening and the doctor just gives a telephonic order. And if you challenge and say, oh, no, I'm not going to do it until you come down, and that turns into a major issue. I don't know if this is the right platform to share, but there was an incident in the area that I worked where one of the nurses recently committed suicide because of the way she was treated by the doctors at the end. I don't know how much of truth is there in this, but she did lose her life. And she was somebody that I knew. And thinking that it is still the same, where somebody who challenges the doctors or a senior person at the hospital is really, really put into so much of trouble. So that was a major cultural shift here. Thinking,
Because it's the hierarchical system, like you said.
Exactly. Exactly.
You have, doctor is boss, and
yes,
is that
it is
thing,
like
so.
it is almost understood that you need to respect.
Yeah.
But that was a major cultural shift here, and something that I would always tell the nurses back in India, saying, no one comes and commands you or demands respect.
No.
Everyone's respected here.
Yeah.
And I think on the first week, when one of the doctors did come and ask, what do you think, Nidhiya? What's your opinion on this? And I was like, really? Are you asking me for opinion?
It was almost like, is this a joke? What is it? Yeah,
I didn't feel it like a joke. I was like, oh. And he's not asking me to follow him there. He just took the folders. He went with his team. He's coming back and feeding it back to us. And I'm like, so this is normal here.
Yeah.
And the minute I stood up to give my chair, he started laughing. He's like, why are you giving up your chair? You need to sit down and do your documentation. And I was like, but you're here. And he was like, so? He wasn't understanding the part where I was saying, oh, this is different in my country.
Yeah.
And I think when one of the band sixes as well, during the night shift, when she came in and immediately my instinct is to jump. I was like, okay, what do you need? Tell me, I'm ready to do anything. And she was like, relax. She even held my hand. And that was like, oh, thank you. Just relax. It's okay. You don't have to jump up or, do anything on command or respect. Yeah. You know what you're doing. We're here to help. Yeah. And if the AU team hadn't been that supportive, probably, I don't think I would have been able to make these 4.5 years. But amazingly. And it's that cultural shift that made a difference for me.
So kind of like a build-on question to that one is, what is it like now? You've been home obviously since being here for the time you have. What's it like going home in terms of a culture in general culture? So do you go home now and look at things in a completely different light? Or,
very much.
Yeah.
Very much. And I think when I initially came into UK as well, a lot of my juniors or my colleagues weren't really into the situation of thinking what could it be like? I had to kind of tell them and ease them and say, it's not as you think. Yeah. It's completely different. And that made a difference to them. Now going back, I know what I have faced here, in a very good way. Yeah. And what I've learned from here. And I clearly look at things differently now. Yeah. And it is not as though with a little broad set of mind thinking, oh, this is what I am, or this is, no. There's a lot of things that has adapted me to this lifestyle, or a lot more where I would think, like I said, I came in as a band 4, and maybe the initial me just thought, I don't need to progress now. I can take my time, see if I fit in or not. But it is for all the people around me, or the support that I got, the respect that I got, or even the feeling where oh yes, we will help you in any way possible. You're not alone here. Yeah, is what made me really progress in my career. And more than anything, your colleagues kind of pushing you and saying, yes, Nidhiya, we trust you, we see you as somebody who could go forward. Why don't you give it a try? I think that made it for me. So
I'm going to touch on that because, there is a lot, I think nationally there tends to be a lot about, how is it to progress in the NHS, especially from not necessarily an international background, but from a BAME background. It can be seen as quite challenging to progress. Now, like you say, you've been here for just, was it 4.5 years? Yeah. You said, yeah. And you've gone from that band 4/5 position into now a senior manager position.
Yes.
How was that journey for you?
Yeah, that journey to me was pretty smooth, which I wasn't expecting, because when I initially came into UK, I didn't have a thought about the next band or what should I do going forward, or maybe I'll just pick it up as it comes. Back in my country, I don't think it, progressing from one band, we don't have the band system there, but at least you would need to have set amount of years or a particular age group probably where they see, oh yes, this person has the seniority to become, in this post. Things are changing. I'm not saying that's still the thing, but it was somewhat that way. So my mind had the same thing, thinking...
It's that you end up with that mindset then, don't you?
Yeah, because I'm 27 now, and a 27-year-old being a unit manager back in India would be seen as, oh, what?
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But my journey from band 5 to band 6, I think a year of being a band 5, and then I received a lot of feedback from my colleagues and my managers then, when the band 6 position was out, thinking, oh, maybe you need to give it a try,
Yeah.
see how it goes. And the first time that I tried for a band 6, for me, it was more or less like, I want to see what it is like.
Yeah.
If I have to move forward, I need to step into something.
Yeah. The experience, I suppose. Isn't
Exactly.
It?
And attending the interview, and a very clear feedback was given, which I don't think happens most of the time in the previous interviews that I attended.
Yeah.
A very clear feedback, and I knew what I was missing or what I need to work on, and that kind of led way to becoming a band 6. And I enjoyed my work in AEU. I have to truly say, I really enjoyed being a band 5 or a band 6, and we used to do both AEU and IACU.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 different sections.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you enjoy what you're doing, and it gives you a lot of exposure, and I really like the way that the NHS does not look into who you are or your age, or if you are confident enough, you're competent in the work you do, if you have the skills, and if you can crack the interview, why not? What's stopping you?
Yeah.
And that kind of gave me a positive approach to thinking, yeah, you can actually move forward. You don't have to sit back and...
I can do this.
Yeah, I can do this. You don't have to sit back and think of, should I take more time into getting more acquainted with things and, learning more skills. And even with the education team, I think there's a lot of support from the entire team at our trust, or probably around NHS as well. You're offered courses moving forward, or what needs to be done in order to develop your career.
Yeah. What do you need to develop?
Exactly. It was kind of personalized thought, where someone comes and asks you, or during an appraisal, thinking, what is it that you want to do? How do you want to progress in your career? And that is something that I don't think we have it. I didn't have it back in India, where someone would sit with you and ask you, tell us what you need, or how are things around you, taking a feedback on things, or is there any difficulties that you face? Tell us how you want to move forward in your career. That was like, okay, now someone's guiding me from here. Yeah. Back home, I had my dad and mom, and now there's somebody who's actually putting things in front of me. Yeah. And really, really thankful and grateful for the support that I've received here, which led to me going into my band 7 role. And that was something that came out of surprise.
I remember when you first started, that I walked past you in a corridor and I had to do that double take thing where I saw you in the senior uniform and I was like, hang on a minute, when did this happen?
It was all of a sudden. And I know there is still a stigma around mental health, but I have always loved to work as a mental health nurse. Although I haven't trained to become an RMN, but as you know, back in India, we have the 4 years of training where all of these are included. Like we would have pediatrics, obstetrics, mental health.
Everything, isn't it?
Yes, it's included. And once you graduate, you are open to work into any of these fields. You don't have to particularly specialize in them, because you would have a year particularly for each of these dedicated. So you already have the training. And I have worked with mental health patients where I really kind of felt I do have something that I would probably need to, share or use my skills into. So when this was initially said, I kind of had a feeling that maybe not, because it's been a year again since becoming a band 6. And I thought I should maybe step back. No, it's too soon. But seeing the confidence of people around me, thinking, maybe Nidhiya, it's you. Maybe give it a try. And that, I love the spontaneity of things. Yeah. And that's how it is. I just stepped into thinking, this is something new. And this is a project that our trust is trying. And more than anything, I would love to be part of something that I need to build from scratch. Yeah. It is different when you have something built up and then you follow what is given.
You go into it.
Yeah. But this was like a clay given to me. Thinking, okay, what would you do, or how would you want to bring this up? And I think that gave me a positive approach to it. I said, okay, let's give it a try. And I got it. Went through the interview. It was amazing. Yeah. Got the job. And right now, I think it's another year and a half working in 2C and having to work with the mental health patients. A lot of different skills, a lot of different opportunities to interact with people or to understand people and do your best for them. Yeah. So to me, it's like working in AAU IACU gave me my medical surgical experience, which I could continue from India as well. Yeah. And this is another shift with mental health patients. Yeah. And I'm already loving it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. That's absolutely amazing. And I think you've hit on quite a few things that I think other people may need to hear as well, because I think it's that thing of, especially, and again, this will vary on where you come from, but it's those cultural things, not just necessarily that you were brought up with, but that work culture as well, that if you, it ingrains in you, doesn't it? Yeah. So, even when you're looking at progressing within your career, you're sitting there thinking, am I at the right age in order to do that? Am I at the right level to do that, where actually, like you say, you proved it. There is no barrier there. It's that belief in yourself,
Yes.
I suppose, as well, right?
Yes, and that's one thing that I'm trying to push as much as possible to the international nurses.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm working as an international link nurse for A&E,
Yeah.
and I really, really wanted to take up that role because me being an international nurse, I know how much each of us stepping into UK would have thoughts about or would struggle with, and I really wanted them to feel that you are not alone. I had the support from my team and I wanted to give it back in a best possible way. And this is something that I tell them always: do not stand back.
Yeah.
Do not stand back. You are a part of team now, and you need to consider it the same. Some of the team members still feel, oh, maybe not, maybe I need to, rethink and all of that. And that's where I feel kind of it's just a push that they need to, kind of get their thoughts around and thinking, no, we can still progress. Or even to saying, I use my example. I say, don't stand back thinking you need a couple of years more or you can't do it. I have done it within 4.5 years. You can as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very, very positive thing about NHS and the trust.
Amazing. Again, thank you for sharing that. That's amazing. I hope that people listening will kind of take your positivity and kind of harness that in kind of furthering their own careers wherever they're listening to us from. So I've got 2 more questions for you, just 2, the final 2. And we're going to get a little bit reflective here. So the first question I'm going to ask you, and this is something that we're going to ask everyone that comes onto the podcast here, is if you knew then what you know now about the entire process of joining from your home country to the NHS, what would be the best piece of advice you could give to someone considering this journey?
Go for it. I would 101% say go for it. One, it's an amazing way to start in a new country, and the major mindset shift. That's one thing that I think everybody should experience. And even career progress wise, amazingly well. So in all aspects, if anyone's still trying and holding back thinking, should I go for the NHS? NHS is amazing. You're included, you're respected, you'll be guided in every part of your journey. And be it this trust or any trust, if it's NHS, absolutely. There are positives and negatives to both. But I think the positives are a bit more higher than the negatives, where we can try and think, yes, this is amazing, we could do it.
Yeah.
So yes, it's 100% yes for me.
So your advice is go for it.
Go for it, yes. Don't stand back thinking that it couldn't work out. There could be hindrances in your journey, but there's nothing that couldn't be sorted out.
When do you feel it's right for someone to stop being referred to as international in terms of their kind of subliminal role?
The minute that you are into the register, being referred to as international completely maybe creates a partition, but at the same time, it is also needed to kind of feel recognized and see that, yes, we are part of this team. So to me, it shouldn't be highlighted as much, but at the same time, it should be very much, how can you say it? On the level saying yes.
Even.
Yes. Yeah. There shouldn't be a partition shown.
No.
And I think the entire team has done wonderfully.
Yeah.
And thank you to you, where it is not high up above there or low up down here.
Yeah.
It is at the level, matching at par, saying, yes, these are our international team nurses or healthcares or doctors who are working for us.
Yeah.
And kind of putting it out there and saying they have come a long way, or it's a major difference when they move from their country to here and get adapted, and giving us that time. Maybe if that was not recognized, maybe if that term wasn't really highlighted, we might be missing on a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't feel that it should be taken off, because maybe there's a higher chance that a lot of things could go wrong if it is taken off, and what I got might not be the things that would happen or would be given if it is taken off. So it's very much...
It's like a badge of honour, though, in a way. And that's
Exactly.
the way that, some of our other guests have explained it, that it is like part of me doesn't want to get rid of it because for
very
me,
true.
it's almost like,
Very
like I
much
say, a
proud
proud
moment,
badge of honour. If you label yourself as something, you're almost creating division rather than inclusion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the more that we label things, the more...
There is a clear partition when you label it,
we create, however accidentally. This is why we asked this question, because for me, I want people like you. I'm not the right person to tell you when that is. You guys are the right people to tell us when that is. And I loved your answer there. So thank you ever so much. So yeah, that was our final question. How was that for you?
Amazing. The entire session was amazing.
It wasn't too bad, was it?
It was good to travel back in time and, start about where you started, talk about things. It was amazing.
Thank you so much for joining us. I know that, it's always a bit nerve-wracking doing these things, but we really, really appreciate it. So, thank you again, everyone, for our wonderful guest, Nidhiya. It wouldn't be what it was without you here today. So thank you ever so much. And again, our listeners and our watchers here, thank you ever so much for joining us. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, tell a friend, share the love, share the podcast, and share these wonderful stories that we're here sharing with you as well. And these incredible people helping make our world and the NHS healthier. A final word from me. Remember, we are all humans before our professions. So if you're going to be anything, be human and be kind. Until next time, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.